各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello everyone.
今天呢，我们再讲一下关于祭祖这个话题的第二场。
Today, let's talk a little bit about this honor our ancestors.
在当代今
Number
天
two.
学校学科之中，大家最多就是说你是一个血脉相传的关系，对不对？
Now in school, the most we will know that is about how we are
那么
related.
他们往生到那边之后，他们的情况，
When they pass on,
从
when they
现代
move
科学来
to
说，他
the
们在那边
different
的情
realms,
况是好
what's
是
going
坏
on with their
能
life?
否传
Do
达
you
过来？
know? Is that something that
还
we'll
有
be
他在
able
那
to
边
find out?
是享福还是受
And
苦？
whether our
和我们之
ancestors
间
are
有没有
enjoying a
关
better
系？
life or suffering, how will we
那
be related?
也就是说，这应该说当代科学没法理
I
解
think
的
this is
哈。
something that modern science
但
is
是呢，
unable
通过今天的故事
to
哈，
understand.
通过今天的我们
But
网友
through
们写来的
today's
这个信传来的
stories
内
and
容来说
sharings,
哈，
maybe through the
我觉得还
content,
特别有针对性，
I think
还
some
特
of
别的真
them
实。
you will be
当我们
able
就
to
是经
have
常
more
听一听
details.
这种梦境和故事的启发之后呢，
In
我相信
fact,
大家都能
I'm
学
sure
到一
that
些
if you find that
关于
you
祖上梦
understand a
境
little bit
和我
better,
们之间的关
you will
系。
know that
其实我
how
们是可以
you're
互动的。
related.
嗯
是的，师傅。
嗯，
其实哈，就是我们的祖先或者说长辈往生了以后，
So it's
其实
just
并
like
不是
Master,
就
like
真
our
正的叫一
ancestors,
了
when
百
they
了
pass
了，
away,
并没有
it
了。
is not
对，
that
并
they're
没有了。
gone.
就是很多的，就包括我们在人世间曾经跟他们享受过的天伦之乐，
In
这种
fact, the
情
type
感
of
的延
the type
续，
of
其实
the
即
type
使
of
在我们
happiness
的
that
祖
we
先往
enjoy
生
with
之后，
them,
你会发
this
现
is something
这种
that
情感的延
such
续
feelings
继续在持续
it
中。
continues.
对对，
所以今天也是给师傅还有网友们再
And
带来一
that's
些
why
网友
today
他们
we want
自
to
己
share
的故
with
事
Master
啊。
some of the
嗯，
stories.
好。
好，我们的网友小红
小红
特别想知道
would like
爷
to
爷奶
know
奶往
what
生到
happened
哪
to
里
her
去了。
grandparents.
尊敬的师傅好，弟
Dear
子今年
Master,
33岁，
I'm now
想分
33
享
years
前段
old
时间
and
我
I'd
做
like
的
to share
梦。
with you the dreams
我
I
爷爷
had.
已经往生
My
13年了，
grandfather has
奶
passed on
奶
for
已经
13
往生
years,
15年
and
了。
my grandmother
从
has
师傅
passed
提
away
供
for
做功德的平台
a
以
period of
来，
time.
我一直在为爷爷
And
奶奶做
after
功德。
masters have been guiding me,
因为
I've
我
been
从
doing a
小是
lot
跟着
of
爷爷奶奶
I've
一
been
起
doing a
住，
lot of
从
merits.
来没有分开过。
When I was
师
young,
傅
I
之
lived
前
with
讲
my
过，
parents.
会
I
因为
lived with
思
my
念
grandparents,
偶尔梦
and
到过
even
去的
till they
亲
pass
人都
on.
算正常，梦里
And
也没
Master
有
have
不
said
吉
before
祥
that it's
的地
normal
方。
to occasionally dream
但是
about the
前段
deceased
时间，
relative
我
because
突然
of
梦到我
missing
爷
them,
爷
and
在
there's
一
nothing
间破
inauspicious
漏
in
的
the
屋
dream.
子里，病
However,
怏
some
怏地
time
躺
ago,
着，
I
看着
suddenly
我
dreamed
来，
that my
他慢
grandpa
慢地
was lying
起来，
sickly in the
盖
living
的被
room.
子都是
When he
破
saw
的、
me,
脏
he got
的，
up
给
slowly.
我感
The
觉爷
quilt
爷
that
很
he
不
had
好。
on were all
醒
torn
来以
and
后，我马上就为
tattered,
爷爷
very
做功
bad.
德，供
So
灯、
when I knew
诵佛
this, when I
经
woke
声。
up, immediately I made
过了几天之后，
meritorious
我
deeds
又
for my
梦到爷爷
grandfather,
了。
offering lights
梦里
and
爷爷
sponsored the
去世
Buddha's
了，
golden
大
statues.
家在外面
A
办
few days
葬
later,
礼。
I dreamt
我
about
回
my
到家，
grandfathers again.
看到爷爷
In
跟
the
2个
dream,
人在
my
门口，
grandfather passed
跟我
away.
说：“快
Everyone
来，
was
我抓到
attending
了
to
小
the
红。”
funeral. When I
进屋
got
之
home,
后，
I saw my
看到爷爷穿着
grandfather
一
and
身
two
整
persons
洁的
at the
中
door.
山装，
My
满面
grandfather
红
said to
光，
me, "Come
还
quickly."
微
I
笑
caught the
跟我
thief.
拥抱告
As
别
I
说：“
entered the room,
我
I saw
走
my
了，
grandfather
别
wearing
想
a
我
neat
了。”
Chinese suit,
在余光
and
中，
his
我
face
看
was
到门
flushed
口
and
有
smiled and
2
hugged
个
me
人在
goodbye.
等爷爷，不知道长什么样子，就感觉那2
And
个
at
人
the
很
corner
严
of
肃
my eyes, I
恭
saw
敬。
two
然后
people
爷爷
waiting for
转
my
身
grandpa at the
就
door.
跟着那2个
I
人
did
走
not know
了，
what they looked like,
我哭得
but
很
I
伤
felt that the
心。
two people were
但
very
是头一
serious
次看着
and
爷
very
爷笑
mighty.
得那么幸
Then
福。
Grandpa turned around and
请
left
问
with
师
them.
傅，
I
爷
felt
爷
very
去到好
sad,
地
but
方
it
了
was the
吗？
first time that
也
my
还想
grandpa
请师
smiling so
傅帮我
happily.
看看
I
奶
wish to
奶
ask
在的地方
Master
好
if
不
my
好？
grandfather has gone to a
我
good
奶奶
place,
也是菩
and I
萨弟
also
子，
want to ask
是
to
奶
see
奶
where
把
my
我领
grandma
进
is.
门的，
My
真
grandma is
诚
also a
得力、
disciple
后
of
辈敬
Bodhi,
爱的师
and it
傅。
was my grandma who led me into
给我们很
Bodhi.
多启发呀。
Thank
对
you,
呀，
Master.
小红是个孝顺的孩子，
So
她
Xiaohong
虽
is a
然
very
还挺
filial
年轻，
child,
才30多岁，
and
可
she's
是
quite
啊，
young
她就
in her
知道
30s,
啊，师傅教育啊，我们要
but
做
she already
功
learned
德，
what
那么
Master has
她就一
taught,
直在给爷爷奶奶
and she
做
has
功
been
德。
doing a lot
所
of
以平时
good
呢，
deeds and
梦到，但是呢，
meritorious deeds. She dreamt of the grandparents, and these are quite normal. Nothing unusual, nothing inauspicious. But recently, not too long ago, she felt that the dream that the grandpa had was not very good. The grandpa was in a very bad shape, and also was showing that he was very sickly. So Master has taught us before that when we dream of this, we must do something. We must do some good deeds. Because such sign, it is showing some inauspicious sign. And that's why it is important to quickly make some meritorious deeds on behalf of the deceased relative. Yes, so when you receive the dreams that your deceased relative are in a very bad state, this actually means that they are not in a very good realms. But after she did some good deeds, like offering lambs and sponsor the Buddha's golden statues, and after that, when she had the dream again, she seems to have a funeral for the grandfather. It is quite interesting. She dreamt about helping the grandfather to do a funeral. And when she returned home, she saw the grandpa. So actually this dream is quite complex. Let's not talk about how scientific this is. I just know that in the dream, in the process, so there is actually the site of a funeral. And after the funeral, when she got home, she dreamt that the grandfather greeted her and said, "Come quickly, I caught the thief." That's also a very interesting point, because the grandpa told her that he caught the thief. And then she seems to see two persons waiting for grandpa at the door. And then at that point in time, the grandpa was not in the torn house and didn't look too haggard and tired. The grandpa was in a better state. And not only that, she was wearing some neat attire. And finally, grandpa also said something to her. "Don't think about me, I'm leaving now." So it is like something that your grandpa will say that to you. So we just want to ask Xiaohong, the second time that she dreamt about the grandpa after she did the meritorious deeds for the grandpa, what does it mean to have the second funeral? I think I analyze it in stages. First, to see that grandpa pass on, and after that, the grandpa managed to catch some thieves. And there are also two tall and mighty persons waiting for grandpa. My analysis is that in the past, when grandpa was not in a good state, through the deeds that she did, the good deeds that the granddaughter has done for him, he changed. So the state changed. So it is like redo the funeral. I think it is a reminder to the child that actually the grandpa already passed away. And during this dream, it is a final goodbye from the grandpa. And the grandpa said, "Don't think about me." So, and then it is an indication that grandpa is reincarnated. I think he caught the thief is because when he is in the lower realms, a lot of them have different type of personalities, and they are affecting these spirits in the lower realms are affecting the grandpa in the lower realms. And that's why the grandpa was suffering in the lower realms. But now, through the granddaughter doing the merits, the grandpa was changed. He changed from the realms because it's going to move away from these realms. So the soul from the lower realms, the disturbing soul, he managed to caught it. There is also the type of law in the realms, in the lower realms. So subsequent to that, and he came to bid goodbye to the granddaughter. "Don't miss me." It is like, forget about me, don't have to think about me. So it is something that he wanted to tell her. And this time is let go completely, because grandpa is going to be reincarnated. And the features of the grandpa As based on what she says, the two person at the gate, it is actually the black and white, the two Lord Yara's messengers. Usually people, when they pass away, they have this sight. There's this two messengers, death messengers, and they're waiting for the soul, Yes, as what she described, is serious and mighty. Yes, but you can't see them completely clear. You can just see images of them. So why is it that they're bringing the soul too? They are going to bring the soul to Lord Yara so that there will be judgment. So when the clothes that the grandpa wear feels neat and good, it means that the grandpa doesn't resist the reincarnation. He will be born into the noble and the wealthy. That is a good outcome, and he wanted to go there compared to where he was. So you see that by accumulating merits for the grandpa goes to a better realms. This is very interesting because of the relationship that she has with the grandpa. The grandpa gets to be reincarnated to a different families. So this is the law of the universe. It is very complex and very intrigued. And then in the heart of the grandpa, he may think that, well, now my granddaughter helped me to do merits and elevate me, free me from suffering, and I'm able to be reincarnated to a better family, to a more auspicious family. So he feels very good, very happy, and he lives in comfort, and he's still very happy. Thank you, Master, for the explanations. But Xiaohong also thinks about the grandma, because the grandma was a disciple, and it was grandma's influence that Xiaohong started to practice meditation. So although she didn't dream about the grandma, she wants to ask Master, where is the grandma now? Is she in a good state? I took a look. I think she is in the higher realms, the divine realms. So it is in heaven. So he is not in the lower realms. It's in the higher realms. It is higher than human realms. So that is a better realm. So he is the first level in heaven. That's very good already. In the four heavenly king realms is a very auspicious realms. Importantly, if we have ancestors, if they go to the Pure Lands, that's even better. But if you are in the divine realms, in the higher realms, you are like a deities. So majority of the descendants will have great wealth. So because of the grandma. So that is the law of nature. So Xiaohong is very, very auspicious. She is a good story. Thank you, Masters, for the explanations. Do we have a present for Xiaohong? She's a very filial child. So I have a red 8 auspicious treasure beads and wishing you auspiciousness throughout. Thank you, Master. She's a very filial child. So Master, we want to share with you about someone from Taiwan. And she wants to share something about her family. Hello, Master, I'm Xiao Ai. And I want to share the story about my ancestors with Master. My grandpa was a soldier and fought in many battles as a young man. And during the war, he often dug up the snakes during the excavation. And he would take these snakes to the snake shop to sell and bring them home to be slaughtered, cook and distribute them as food to the neighbors. In my memories, my grandfather often had surgeries due to illness in his later years, leaving long scars from the abdomen, thighs to scalps, like being slaughtered animal. cut open. And my grandfather passed away 10 years ago. After my grandpa passed on, my sister and I often dreamed that my grandpa was like a mummy, lying in the Dutch and smelly ditch, very cold and hungry. Sometimes my sister dreamed that he lied on her bed like a mummy's. Such dreams last for 3 to 4 years. During that time, we have not joined Bodhi yet, and we didn't understand the meaning of that dream. Until 2014, after I entered Bodhi meditations, I heard Master's lectures on Qingming festivals and Ullambana Festival, and after that, I offer lights on behalf of my grandpa. After offering the lights, I dreamt of my grandfather again. In the dream, he was standing in a very bright space, and he said he was going in. Every year after that, my grandpa would enter my sister's dream during the Qingming festivals and Ullambana festival. Originally, he was sitting in the living room waiting for dinner. After offering the lamps, the following years, my sister dreamt that he has already eaten in the dining room. Until that, Master also explained the greatness of sponsoring the Earth Store Bodhisattva status. So we make a sponsorship for my grandpa, and then we lit a 49 days light for my grandpa. As a result, I dreamt that my grandpa was in the underworld but wearing gold and silver. There was a very luxurious big house, and my grandfather was holding my brother in his hand. My brother looks like he was a child. And my brother is the eldest grandson. And when he was young, he has a problem since he was a child. No matter whether he was working or studying, he always caused trouble. And he always gave up doing things halfway. And when he was 30 years old, he felt that his neighbor was saying bad things about him. So he kept moving house, and then he even tried to kill him, threatened to kill him. Our family members were very worried, fearing that he would hurt others. So in October 2021, my younger sister dreamt that the master told her that we had a female ancestor that looked at my younger brother viciously. So we lit the lamp for the female ancestors. So after that, he finally agreed to see a doctor. So the doctor diagnosed him with psychosis and combined with auditory hallucinations. He is currently taking and injecting some drugs and living in a mental rehabilitation home. He is no longer able to work and need to rely on medications for life. My grandpa has 2 sons and a daughter. My grandpa's younger son is divorced, loves to play video games, achieves nothing in life, and spends all of grandpa's pension. My grandpa's eldest son, which is my father, is a very bad health state and has very high hepatitis index and the dark complexions. Fortunately, he met Master, who suggested that he practice in a meditation center and said that if he can do volunteer work in the meditation center for 28 days, he can prolong his life for 1 year. My father followed Master's advice and practiced for a month, and his liver index retained to normal. Now he practices energy bagua every day. His face is no longer looking dark and is more energetic. My grandpa's 2 grandsons are not very well. My younger brother is mentally ill, and one of my cousins is a delinquent boy. Cheated on my uncle's money and make my uncle very sad. I just want to ask Master to help me find out where my grandpa is. Is he in a better place? And also somehow my family boys are not doing very well, but girls who have headache is because of the problems with the ancestral graves or the heavy karma of the ancestors. Because we left our hometown much earlier and we do not know where our ancestral graves are. What should we do? Will my brother get better if he's mentally ill? I ask for Masters for your blessings and guidance. Thank you. This is a very long story, so it's quite scary for those listening to the stories. It seems that all are related to Grandpa, because when the Grandpa was doing the excavation work, a lot of time you have a lot of wild animals. And one of them, it is actually snake. He didn't let the snake go off. Instead, he tried to kill them. Actually, from this perspective, it is not too good. Especially she explained very well, because he even asked the father to slaughter the snake. And actually, as a result, the grandpa suffered. And the description is that it is like being slaughtered. When the grandpa has to go for surgery, it seems like he's being slaughtered. Because no matter what you kill, you need to cut off the head, you need to cut off the legs. These are the things that you have to do. But when we are old, you need to go for operations, you lie on the operation theater bed. It's actually quite similar to animals. The only difference is we are human beings, human bodies, as compared to an animal's body. So when we observe this, you look at the descendants, there are some signs. Some signs are something that is important for us to contemplate. So if you look at the two sons of the grandpa, the elder son has very high hepatitis index and the face is very dark, complexions. And the second son, it is a problematic child because definitely a problematic child. He didn't work, he's a delinquent child, he didn't work well. And not only that, he spent all the father's pension. So, and the way that he spent it is he spent it without much thought. So when grandpa, during old age, in terms of financial, he lacked financial securities. So for Taiwan, you do have some insurance, medical insurance. But if you want to buy something else, you probably have no money because the pension is being used up by the son, by the unfilial son. So the other son, the elder son, is actually Xiao Ai's dad. And Xiao Ai's dad also have some illness as well. He has very high hepatitis index. And he even dreamed that masters to tell, and he had a chance, Xiao Ai's dad had a chance to meet master, and master asked him to come to practice. The thing is, when I tell him, he actually believes in me. I was hoping that I'm able to help him. So I think the dad has good affinities. I told him to do it and he listened to me. And as a result, his liver is back to normal. That is very good. A lot of time, after they listen to the doctor's report, we didn't ask very bad. We just asked people much. We just asked people to be a volunteer at the center or to practice energy bagua. But I think there are many reasons. Some is because of affinities. Some is because of their own mental. They have to go through some hurdles, some obstacles, mental hurdles. They never think what is more important. I think the father has good connections with Bodhi, and that's why he listens. So there are further to the next generation. The grandchildren are not very good. First of all, is Xiao Ai's brother. He's not very good too, and he has a cousin. He also cheated the dad's money, which is uncle's money. So his cousins. So his younger brother, Xiao Ai's younger brother, is mentally ill, and one of the cousins is a delinquent boy. So it is like different generations, they're still doing the same thing. And they're quite similar in terms of their actions because the uncle took the grandpa money. And then now the son of the uncle also cheat on the uncle's money. So it seems that there's some passing down of the bad traits. So you can only understand this as a form of karma, a law of causality. got to do with their bad relationship or the way that they did to the snakes.
对，
The grandfather actually died for 10 over years, but Xiao Ai and the sisters always dream
那
about
就是在
the grandpa
地
and
狱
in a
中
very bad state.
受刑受苦。
Yes, it just means that the
他不像他
grandpa
梦
was
到那个
in
样子。
the hell
其
and
实我
suffering
们
in
讲过
hell.
地狱了哈，
We talk
地狱
about
中
the
正在
hell,
受刑，
and he is going through
受
the
刑受苦。
suffering
因为
in
那个
hell.
场面如果梦到的话，太残酷了，
Because
所
when
以呢，只
he
是
did
说
dream like the
还照顾了一个人
grandpa
的
like
承受
a
力哈，
mummy's.
还是说只是说有点儿贫穷啊、寒冷啊那种感觉，还像干尸一样，
And he is like a dried
你想，
mummy, so that
都
is
是与
very
与那
scary.
个与蛇之间
Got
的
to
伤害都
do
有关
with
系啊，
with the
对
killings that they
对，
did to the
这都是特
snake.
别不吉祥的。
Because these are all
那
very
所以这个后代能好
inauspicious.
得了吗？
And how can the descendants be good?
哦，
Even dream that the grandpa, the mummified
这个我
grandpa
们
lying
给朋
on the
友沟
sister's
通一下
bed.
哈，
I
就是
just
如果
want to
梦到一个
communicate
不
this
吉
with
祥
you
的
if you
一
dream
种
of something very
去世的
inauspicious,
祖宗哈，
like
那
your
个
past
尸
deceased
体，
relatives,
或
their
者已经你
bodies,
知道他已经死了，
or you know that they
可是
already
他就
passed
挨着
away,
你睡，或
but
者
he
是
slept with you, close to
睡在
you,
你自己的床上，
or slept
或
on
者
your
你们家
bed,
某个人床
or
上，
a specific
那
person
这
in
个
the
人
family,
就
the bit
要
of a specific person.
非常小心了呀。
You want to be
就不太
very,
吉
very
祥。
careful because it's not auspicious at all.
还有说前头拉着他那个孙子的手，
And we talk about holding the
拉着
grandson's,
他的
the,
弟弟嘛，
the
就是爷爷
brother's
的孙
hand,
子嘛哈，
which is the
对，
the
那这个
grandson's,
弟弟不就成精神病了吗？
and then he became mentally ill.
如果不成精神病，就会把弟弟领走了。
If he's not mentally ill, he would have taken his soul.
对，
So these are
在
all
梦中
signs.
哈，就是我来就算解梦，
So it's
理
like
解你
talking
和你
about the
祖宗
dream.
之间的这
We're
样的
talking
梦境的
about
状况。我的
your
理解就是这样，就果
your
然哈，
stories with your
你看这
ancestors.
个躺在妹妹这个床上，
So you think
已
about it
经
lying
去
on
世的，而
the
且很痛苦的那个样
on the
子哈，
sister's bed
对妹妹
and showing sign of suffering.
拉
This
着
is
这个弟
actually
弟的
very
手，
good. And
对弟弟
pulling
不
the
好，
grandpa,
和
the
弟弟
deceased
不好。
grandpa, holding the brother's hand.
那我们
This
来
is
看看
not
小
good.
矮怎么样呢？
Let's talk about
小
Xiao
矮
Ai.
相对来说，在他孙辈
小矮
里
among
还是一
all,
个明事理，
He is
而
someone,
且
she's
还是积
someone
极
that
的为爷爷
understands.
在点灯做功课的
And
一
she
个孝
continuously
顺
do
孩
good
子。
deeds for the grandpa.
所以呢，就是他
So
也
as
是
a
刚梦到
result,
就是爷爷像干尸一样，啊
she
又
felt
又
that
黑又臭的
she
时候，
dreamt
又
that
冷的时候，
grandpa
他后来
also
进了菩提后
mummified.
就听
But
了
when
师
she
傅
knew
讲解
this,
这
after
种道
listening
理，
to Master, she
他
started
也
to offer
学
lights
着去
on
做
the
这些功
after she
课，
dreamt
去
about
给
the
爷爷点灯
grandpa.
哈。点完灯以后
And
呢，
after she
又
offered the
又
lights,
做梦啦，
she
又梦到
dreamt
爷
of
爷
the
就开
grandpa
始
again.
在一个亮光里
And in
面
the dream, he was standing in a very bright place. And he said that he was going in. This is an
这个就有
auspicious
这个
sign.
变化了。
是
There's a change.
遇到这个去世的长辈哈，
So when you
都
have
在
the
黑暗
ancestor
阴冷
disaster,
啊，那个
if
有
they are
恐怖
in
那
a
个
very
状态就
dark
是不好。
place,
遇到光
that's
明的
not
欢喜
good.
的，穿着特
But
别
if
光
he's
鲜
standing
的，
in
这
a
就
very
好。
bright place, wearing beautiful clothes,
嗯，遇
that's
到光了，
auspicious.
对，这是一个大变化哈。
Because
第
that
二个呢，
is
就
a
是
good
他说
change.
之后他又在
And she also
逢
shared
清明
that
节、盂兰
every
盆节的
time
时候，
during the
还
Qingming
会给爷爷继
Festival
续点
and
灯做功
Ullambana
课。
Festival,
这个
she
也
will
有变化
continue
哈。
to offer
之
lights
前呢是
for
爷爷在客
Grandpa.
厅坐着等
Because there's
吃
also
饭，
some change.
等吃饭就是
Grandpa
还
was
是没
sitting
饭
in the
吃。
living room waiting
对
for
不对？
dinner.
点完灯
And
以后呢，
after
也做
offering
梦
the lamp,
做梦就是
the
爷爷
she
已
also
经在
dreamt
客
of the
厅里
grandpa.
吃着饭呢，
But she
有
has
饭
already
吃了。
eaten
对
in
这
the
又是
dining
好
room.
大一个变
So
化
that is
当
also
然了，
another
好显
change.
著。
对，这对爷爷的
Indeed.
帮助太大
So
了。
the change, the
哎
help
这真
that
的是
she
一步一
provide
步
to the
哈。
grandpa
接
is
着呢，就
extensive.
是师傅又推出了
And
这
then
个素
masters
地藏王
also
菩萨
have
金身
this
啊，
对
sponsor
小
or
矮非常孝
guild
顺，为爷
of
爷
the
复活金
Bodhisattvas
身了。
statues,
啊，
and
做
she
完
also
这个之
followed,
后，
make
想
that
梦见爷爷不
sponsorships.
一样了，
And
在
after
地
she
府里
made that
穿金戴
sponsorship,
银，
啊，像
she
员外一
dreamt
样。
of
对，
the
像员
grandpa
外一样，
again.
后面还
And
有
now
大宅
he's
子，
wearing
了不
gold
得
and
了。
silver
是
and
个富
living
贵
in
的
the
长者，
luxurious
对
big
哎，
house.
虽然在下头哈，在阴间
So
哈，
although he's
但这个
still
不一
in the
样啊，
underworld, but
哎，
it's
那
now
就成富
changed
人了。
because
这
he
老头谁
becomes
敢
a
惹呀？
wealthy
啊，
person.
是是。
对，
Who
至
dare
少
to
不受罪
disturb
了
him?
呀。
At least to the minimum,
这个
he's not
不
suffering.
高深哈，
对
这个已经又越来越
So
好，
this
员
is
外
getting
相了。
better.
再往后，又
And
点了一
later
年
on,
的超
he
见灯，
offered
再加上
another
给爷爷塑了
years
地藏
of
菩萨佛像之
lights
后
for
呢，
the
塑金身之
grandpa.
后，
continue to do that, and then she stopped dreaming about him. So that is a very good sign, because it's good that you do not dream, because he's probably reincarnated, or he's already in, because you are actually belonging to two different worlds. You don't want to dream of them, you don't want to see them. That's the best. If you dream of them, a lot of time, the alive will be affected, because it is the energy from the underworld. So whatever that you feel is not so good. So basically, it may not cause harm, but it is definitely not good. I think Xiao is also someone with good intuitions, because he's able to dream. She's able to dream of Grandpa and the state that he was in. But every time when she makes some contributions or she makes some sponsorship, every time when she did a meritorious deed, she can see the transformations of the Grandpa. So every step that she did, the Grandpa got elevated. So definitely we can see that all the actions that we do, no matter how small it is, it provides some ground of elevations. So this is as a descendants who do the contributions, it will help to elevate the Grandpa. So I think Grandpa likes Xiao Ai, this granddaughter Xiao Ai. So Xiao Ai did so many good deeds for Grandpa, and I think at the end of the day, Xiao Ai truly benefited. So she's a good granddaughter, helping her Grandpa. So do we have a present for Xiao Ai too? Yes, for her. We have a prize for her. This is a scarf that I painted. It's listen, and I hope that after you wear this, you will have auspiciousness. She also has a brother, and the brother definitely needs some help. I think every one of them, I have a prize for you, good for you, and each one of you will have 8 auspicious treasure beads, wishing you auspiciousness. Next is Kaixin Kuailai, and she has good dreams. She dreamt that Grandma giving good stuff. Dear Master, on the 4th day after listening, after Masters explained the Earth Bodhisattva Sutra last year, on the 4th day, I wrote a letter to Masters and got chosen. It was about my dream that my husband, deceased grandparents, wanted to live in my house. At that time, Master helped them, and lighting the lamps, we also went to worship. After half a month later, I dreamt that my grandma took a lot of things and said that they were treasures. First, she brought out a black thing that looks like a small bowl, but smaller than a mole. First, I was watching, and the sister-in-law sitting next to me holding it. After that, my grandma snatched it and refused to give it back to her. Then the sister-in-law got angry, and then Grandma took a silver great iron pot that was smaller than the rice pot. Says it's money, she says softly, and she happily gave it to me. Then I dreamt of people collecting antiques. I want to ask my grandma if those antique treasures were for sale. So I took my sister-in-law with me. When I arrived there, I saw my grandma sitting tall like cotton, or like some surrounded by colorful ribbons. She's very young and beautiful like a bodhisattva, wearing very long ancient clothes. I asked Grandma, "Do you want to sell your treasure?" As soon as I finished speaking, she looked at my sister-in-law with her eyes wide open and said bitterly, "Not selling it." So in my dream, I realized that Grandma seems not to want my sister-in-law to know it. So I left without saying a word. Master, Grandma, is it in a good place? Is this dream a good dream? Please tell me, Master. This is the first time we see that they're giving treasures. Because our ancestors in the dream,
我刚才说那种感觉
We talk about the
就是这样觉
feelings.
得是好地方。
We just feel that they're in a good place, in a noble place, or their expressions is good. Usually this means auspiciousness.
那这个遇到这个祖宗呢，
So when you
就是
have
请往生的
the
祖宗
ancestors, especially the
能够说给
deceased,
我
they
们觉
can
得是
give
宝物。
us some treasures.
凡是他认为说是宝
Actually,
物，
anything that they feel
这
is
就是吉
treasures.
祥的，是好
This
的。
is auspicious.
那像给他给的什么
Like
锅呀、
giving
碗
her
啊，
some pot.
这些是太好了。
These are
意
good.
味着什么呀？
What
比
does
如
it
说给你
mean,
一个
Master?
碗哈，
So if
你
it's
就通
give
常
you a
会生个
bowl,
男宝宝。
it just means that you will have
给你个锅的话呢，
a son.
给你一个
If
未
you
来
have a pot,
一个圆满的家呀。
it just means in the future you will
并
have a
且都是
complete
丰衣
families.
足食，是富
It
贵
just
人家
means
呀。
auspiciousness,
你看
good
就给这个
fortune.
奶奶孙女之间，孙女
And
孙子
the
这些
relationship between grandparents
就
and
是给这个孙子
granddaughters
辈的
or the
赐福
grandchildren
了。
is providing with them
这是
with
孙子孙女啊
blessings.
孙女儿，
孙女
So
哈。
this is
那
a
这个孙女呢，你
granddaughter.
看又给她做功德，
So this granddaughter
哎，所以奶
continuously
奶疼她
do
是
deeds
对的，
for
并且说
meritorious
哎，接
deeds
下
for
来
the
因为她的故
grandma.
事比较短嘛，
Her
就梦到
story is
奶
quite
奶
short,
好像坐在一
but
个什么
seems
很
like the
高的一
grandma
个彩
was in
色
a
的
very
什么棉
high,
花，
sitting in a
那么
cotton
那个七彩
or
带，
seven-colored
穿
ribbon,
的是
and she's wearing something
穿的
that
是
looks
长
like
长的
bodhisattvas
都蛮美
古代的，
and
应
looks
该是
pretty
叫
beautiful.
菩萨的衣服啊，
I
其
think
实
she's probably
是
wearing something
比
like a
较华
bodhisattva's
贵的
clothes,
啊，
so
对，
it is
华贵的
auspicious,
这种雍
and
容
the
华贵
feels
的古代的
looks
服装
very
呢，
lavish.
第一个首先确认
I think
奶奶通
first
常去
it
世
just
的
tell you
人
that
成
when
为
she
灵魂
passed
之后
away,
哈，
when she
在那
became
面要是特别高
in
贵
the
的
soul,
话，
she's also
她
in a
就穿
very
上
noble
古代人
state.
认为很高贵
So
的
she
服
will
装。
wear something that looks
所
very
以这个
grand.
奶奶，也
So
就是
the
这个孙子
grandma,
为奶奶做的功
the
德哈，
grandma is in
这
a
太有
good
价值
place
了。
because it's so
奶奶的这
effective.
些你看到这个
All
气
this
质、穿戴、
change, all the
反应，
change,
这就是贵人。
it is just
奶奶
a
成贵
very
人了。
she
对。
dressed
我
well.
刚刚
She's in
我
a
就
noble
是
state.
读到小那个开心快乐他写的
When
这
I
一段，
read
他
about
说
this
看
part
见
by
奶奶坐在
Kaixin,
高高的像棉花
she says that
所
she
坐
sits
上，
on a
我头脑
cotton.
里首先
In my
立刻想
mind,
到的
I
那不是
keep
一朵云
thinking
彩
that
吗？
isn't
它
that
就
a
是感觉像
cloud?
坐在一朵祥
It
云上
seems
似
like
的
she's
那种
sitting
感觉
on a
不
very
是我们今
auspicious
天呢，先不
cloud.
究竟
Let's not
他
talk
做的那个
about
东西到底
what
是
is
什么
it that she's
啊，
sitting
先不
on.
究竟，首先
Let's
是
not
好
talk
的，
about, let's not
至少
dwell
是
into it.
天国的这个
But
境界啊。
definitely in a higher
对，
realms, in a
他
better
梦见
realms.
什么？他因为前头奶奶给
Because
他
before
有价
that, the
值的宝
grandpa
贝
gave the grandma
就是
gave
说
her
哎，有
something
人
like
来
a
收谷
bowl
物来了，
and said there's
哎，
someone
一
who
些
come
旧
and
东西
take
卖的
and
挺贵嘛，
takes.
是吧？哎，他就拉着他的弟媳妇
So
去见奶奶。
she would ask her
奶奶呢，
sister-in-law to go
在那
together
个高
with the
贵的那
grandma.
种打扮和环境下，可是一看见弟
But
媳
the
妇来，
moment when the
就脸一
grandma
沉，
sees
就
the
是就不
the
卖，
sister-in-law,
好像就
she
在
said,
说
"No,
给
I'm
这个
not
弟媳妇的。
selling."
哎，
She's angry
那
with the
到底是什么
sister-in-law.
原因呢？
好像
Why?
有一点分别对待的这种
Maybe
感
there are
觉
some
可能
differentiations.
弟媳妇本来在老人家在世的时候哈，他
Maybe
们第一个就可能不
first of
和，
all, maybe their
第二
relationship
个
is
可
not
能
very
弟媳妇
good.
可能有不尊重、不礼貌的
Maybe
方面，
the
就让老
sister-in-law
人
is
家
not
对他
hasn't
不
been
开心。
respectful,
就没有尽到他的孝心。
and that's
那我
why
们这个开心
the
快乐
in
网友
the
还是很
the
棒的，
grandpa
他
is
是
not
去年
grandma
的
is
时
not
候
happy.
啊，他梦见往生的爷爷奶奶来家，想要住在他们家，所以给师傅写信啊，然后也是有幸被师傅抽到了。师傅说，
Yes,
爷爷
Master,
奶奶
because
需要
she
做
says
功
that
德呀。
last
师
time
傅
she
当时
wrote
帮了他，
letters
他
about
也为爷爷奶
masters,
奶做了
about
功
deceased
德，去祭祀了，
the
诵了
husband's
佛菩
deceased
萨经
grandparents
身
wanted to
啊，所
live
以呢，
in
他
her
就有这样
house.
吉祥的
So
梦。
at that
于是
time,
他
masters
确
helped
实跟
them.
弟媳妇不一样，
对，
他真的是
做了。
尽心尽
So
力
she
地为爷
actually
爷
did
奶奶做
something
了很多
for
功
the
德。
deceased
所以也
grandparents.
是，就是奶奶就有点偏爱他了。
So maybe that's
其
why
实
the
即使往
deceased
生了的话，
grandma
就是我
prefer
们的
her
祖
to
辈
the
都还
other
是分得清
sister-in-law.
现世的孩子们哪个更有孝心，哎，哪个做的事儿好，这些我们的祖辈都知道。
So they all know, the
尤其是已
ancestors
经
know,
往生的人啊，
especially
他在那
those
么
that
再
has
回
passed
看
on.
人世间的
Because
话，
when they
那
look
就
at the
一目了
human
然。
world, it is
对
very
不对？
clear.
一个是孝敬他，第二个的话，
One
这个孩子
is philia,
也是比较善良。
And also the child is kinder by
又善
nature.
良又有孝心的孩子，
So when they
所
have
以奶
filial
奶是最爱的，
and they are
所以才
kind,
会把
that's
这个
why
祝福
grandma
啊，
likes them, and
甚
that's
至
why
祖
pass
辈
the
的功德
auspicious
哈，
energy
都会
and
传
blessing
给
to
这个
her
孩子。
and pass on to the child.
对，所以这个梦境呢，就是说，
So
他
in
拉着
these
他弟媳
dreams,
妇儿说，他们得不着，我都给你
They didn't want to give to the other sister-in-law, but to pass to her. Thank you, masters, for holding this internet friends. So, master, can we have a present for her, a small gift for her?
来了，
Yes.
哎
Oh, this is good. Auspicious,
对，这个
bringing
孩子
great
有孝
fortune
心啊
cat.
所以应该得一个
So I
这
think
样一个小图
She
画啊
needs to have this little
好，祝福
print,
你如意吉祥。
wishing you auspiciousness.
感恩师
感恩
傅。
师傅。
Thank you, master.
好，师傅，那接下来呢，我们再来看一下来自于韩国
And now,
鞍山
masters,
堂堂的遗
we
传
have
给我们带来
another
的
sharing
故事
from
哈，
our
也是
Korean
他和
friends.
自己的爷爷奶奶和往生的祖辈的这些美好的姻缘的关系。
好，
快到清明节了。
Hello, Master. I'm Yichuan, and Qingming Festival is approaching, and every year before this festival, I'm always very scared and anxious. Even when I get home from work, I dare not go upstairs alone. I dare not go to the bathroom alone at night because I always feel that someone is watching me from behind. My back felt cold, and I deliberately talked loudly to my husband. When it gets darker, I need to draw the curtains, and I need to close the door when I enter the bedroom. I'm especially afraid of the cracks in the door and dare not sleep, because during festival like this, I always dream about my deceased loved ones. And every time I dream of them, I will light a lamp for them. Sometimes I don't really remember the contents of the dreams, but I can clearly remember who I dreamt about. After dreaming them, I was very tired and uncomfortable. It seems like my body was extremely heavy, like walking with the big stones on my back, and it needs several days to get over it. A month before the Ullambana Festival last year, I dreamt of my deceased paternal grandparents. In the dream, they came to the meditation center to participate in a big event, and were very, very well dressed. At the receptions, I was very happy to see them and went to greet them. And my grandparents shook my hand and said, "We don't have tickets, so we can't get in." Maybe it's because I haven't seen them for a long time. I was really happy, and I woke up laughing. But after waking up, I felt very sad because I work at the meditation centers and I didn't even get tickets for my grandparents. And I muttered to myself, "My grandparents have passed away. What tickets do they need?" So I made an appointment to light the lights for the departed for my grandparents at the Ullambana Festival. But at night, I dreamt again. Grandpa was lying on my bed with his head buried in silence, and my grandma was also lying on my bed, but her face was flushed. Looking at me expressionless, I was still very surprised to see them and asked, "Why are you here?" I got up to hug my grandma, and my grandma bit my right hand on the hypotunnel, and it was so painful that I sat up all of a sudden, only realized that it was a dream. But after I wake up, I still find that the place I was bitten still experienced some pain. And I told the center's teachers and said, "I already reserved lamps for my grandparents. How could such thing happen?" And they tell me, why do you still have to wait? You should lit immediately. After I hear this, I immediately offer the lights. And after that, I never dream of them again. So I hope that they're somewhere good. By the beginning of March this year, I dreamt of my deceased maternal grandma. In the dream, she was very fierce and asked me, "Why didn't you give me money?" Because I was raised by my paternal grandparents, my relationship with my maternal grandma is not very close. When I heard this, I was shocked. And when I woke up, I was thinking, why did my grandma come to look for me? With the lessons from the past, I immediately went to the meditation center to light the lamp for my maternal grandma. After that, I never dreamt of my maternal grandma again, thanks to masters. And I have another situation. I don't know if it's sleep paralysis. but I haven't dreamt of a ghost, but I can't wake up when I want to wake up. I mutter in my heart, Master, save me, save me. It is only then I'm able to wake up. But after I wake up, I still feel very uncomfortable. It seems like my strength has been taken away, and I felt tired whole day. Since then, I have placed a Vajrapava at the head of my bed and bought the large size Bodhi short sleeves shirt to sleep in. It never happens again. Thank you, Masters, for your blessings and protections. I hoped Masters to give me some guidance. I'm the youngest at home, but why is it I always dream about my deceased relative? Are they hinting to me? Or just offering lamps is that enough? What else can I do, Master? Please guide me. Thank you, Master. Master, let's help this young Yituan. Let's see what is it is trying to say in the dreams. So first, she dreamt about her grandparents, and she was quite happy because but they talk about not having the tickets, entrance tickets to the puja. She felt that maybe the grandparents want to participate in the puja ceremony, but maybe the opportunity was not ripe, so they couldn't come. So that was the beginning. So she was shocked. Why is it that they need tickets? But she actually make an order for the lights offering. And then she dreamt of the grandparents again. They are not in a very good state. They were lying beside her, not very happy. And the grandma even bite her hypothalamus. And when she woke up, she could feel the pain. What is the reason for this, Master? I think the grandparents want to come to the meditation centers and they have no entrance tickets. What do you need when you come to the centers? Merits? As a soul, you can't enter the center. Unless the heavenly guidance general allowed you to come in. Because this is the most holy place. If you are in the lower realms, if you are in a state of ghost, you will not be able to enter. So that's why it's important for her to make offerings of lights on their behalf. When she first dreamed of, she's probably not aware. So this is something that we learn, Master. And after that, this is the first time I know there's this thing called make appointment for lighting the lamps. I think maybe because she wants to wait to the closer date when you start offering. Maybe there's a week, so they wait. So I just pay money, I just light later on, a week later. But what did the grandparents do? The next day they come. I said, why is it that you have not light and even bite? The grandma even bite on her palms. I think they really need it. They really need to receive the blessings. Let's talk something more light. For example, if you're walking halfway and your car broke and there's no one before and after you, what do? Are you worried? It's getting dark and it's going to have a winter storm. Are you worried? If you are in hell, it will be worse. The urgency is worse. And that's why the next day the grandparents showed up in her dreams, lying beside her, and asked her, why are you not doing it yet? But the sense of urgency is definitely there. It is just like we are hungry and we need food. And the child said, "Wait, let's wait. I make appointment 5 p.m. I will deliver the food. But I'm so hungry I needed to take some food." It is this sign.
对，这里头就是故事中套故事。
Actually, the story within the stories, these are all very complex. When you listen to this, when you hear the explanations, you may say that, wow, you got the answer. Some may say that, why is it that grandma has this sense of urgency? Why she want to bite her?
还非要咬在那个，就是遗传还特别写出来，还要非要咬在
Why
小鱼
bite
际那
on
个
the
部位。
hypotunnel
这
there?
有没有什么
Hypotunnel,
那
is there
种
some specific
暗示啊，或者是
sign or
奶奶给
meaning?
他传递的一个信号？
Or there are some
我的分
specific?
析有点牵强附会
I think I'm just trying hard in terms of explanations.
这一块呢，
Actually, this part,
代表着
what does it represent, Master?
与子孙有关系。
It got to do with your descendants.
第二个，破财。
Secondly, you may lose some money, lose some wealth.
我给大家讲过手
I've
相中的一
said
个概念啊。
before
比如说
about
把
the
手伸
palms.
平了，
If you put your
人家
palms
伸半
out,
平了哈，
let's say you put flat,
拿点清水倒
and
进
you
去，
put
看你
some
的手心
water,
有没有存
and
住
you
水。
see whether you are able to hold some water
如果
at the
现在
heart
存
of
住
the
水了，
palm. If
如
you're
果把
able
小
to
鱼际这一块
hold
掰
it,
掉呢，
and you get rid of this part, what happens?
所以为什么我说破财
So？I say that it is losing
在
wealth.
手相中还有一
So
个
in palm reading,
小拇指，
there is
对
talking
应小拇
about
指的手掌的部位的
the
下端，
last
就是小
part,
鱼际这一带，
the near
这小
about
拇
the
指往下这一
hypotunnel,
带，
this area,
都与子女有关系。
it got to do with your descendants.
所以他的后代被咬的人，
So the descendants,
生育要小心了。
you want to be
没法再
careful.
说了。
I can't say further.
对，
就还是快快的，
赶快
赶紧把
补救
爷爷奶奶的
I
这个
think
灯
it's
要点
important
起
to
来，
quickly
功德
offer
要做
light
好，
对
and
要赶紧要让爷
do
爷奶
that
奶
for the
先得到
grandparents so
救
that they
度
can
超度。
否
receive
则的话，
they receive the blessing.
嗯，
Otherwise,
就麻烦了，
you will be in trouble.
是这么一个含义在。
And there is this hidden meaning
太感恩
behind.
师傅，
Thank you,
特别及
masters,
时地指导了
for
遗传
providing such a timely
相信遗传
advice.
听懂了，
对，
I'm sure she understood
后
what
头
you
还有
said.
问题
后头
吗？
还有
Do
爷
you
爷
have
奶
other
奶安顿
questions?
好了哈，
Yes,
然
after
后
settle
就
the
是
grandparents,
又来姥姥了。
and now the
那么
maternal
遗传也讲
grandparents
其实跟
appears.
姥姥呢没有特别
She
的
says
亲，
that
不像
she's
跟
not
爷爷
very
奶奶
close to her
更亲
maternal
一点
grandmother.
哈。好，然后她姥姥更凶
And
哎，还在梦里问她，你为什么不给我
And
钱
the？maternal
对
grandmother
刚刚我们
was
说爷
saying
爷
that
奶
why
奶
is
是
it
要
that she
门
didn't
票
give money
其实是就想参加这个
to
想
her.
来禅堂，
禅堂，想被佛光照哈。姥姥更直白，怎么没
The
给
maternal
钱呢？
grandmother
直接
was
要
very
钱
direct.
嗯，
She was very fierce in a dream and
要
asked
钱
her,
啊，
Why didn't
长
you
辈
give
万
me
一要
money?
钱呢，
Well,
都是在帮你。
哦
they are
是在
actually
帮我们
helping
呢
her.
你想啊，
You think
奶
about it.
奶在她的
The, but,
手掌边上咬了一口，
so the
第一个就破财了。
first of all, the
但是
paternal
姥姥来
grandma
呢，是先来
bite,
帮她来了。
and the maternal
有
grandma
时
is
候
here
叫
to
忠言
help.
逆耳，
Maybe
越忠诚
sometimes
的对你好，他
they're
的
trying to
表
be good,
表
but
情不一定是
they are very
看
fierce.
似像售货员那样微笑服
So they
务
may not be smiling at you, but
他会
the
直白
the
的来
paternal
帮你。
the maternal grandma is
快给我
there to
钱。
help. Give me
我缺
money.
钱，你为什么
I
还不
need
给
money.
我？
Why isn't that you haven't given me the
这个
money?
时候实际上来说
Actually,
是帮他补咬的这一口，
it is to help her
帮他
to
补
fill
过
up this gap
哦，这样
that
子啊，那
对
真
the
的要好
paternal
好地感恩
grandma
姥姥
has
了呀
bite
对
off. So she
但
must
是呢，
thank
她
the
要做的是
paternal
什么呢？
grandma.
嗯，
都在
What
应
does
该
she
说
has
给
to
他
do?
给姥姥要上供啊，
She
这
needs
关
to make
键那个
offerings.
季节的时候要烧
Or
纸
during
钱
this
呐，
period, she needs
啊
to
要祭
offer
祀啊，
people
在佛
money
前为姥姥点灯
and
祝
need to
福
offer
啊，
lights on her
是吧？
behalf.
甚至让药师佛帮他消灾啊，
Or even
这
ask
些动作
medicine
他要去
Buddha to
做，
help her as well.
这样对他才有好处。
So this will be good for
哎
her.
虽然他是跟奶奶长大的哈，
Although
他
she
姥
grew
姥就
up
没那么
with
亲
her
哈，
paternal
但是
grandparents
他
and
毕
she's
竟
not
是他
close to
的
her
先
maternal
祖啊，
grandparents.
都是爱
But
他的。
These are
那
all
你
her
在祭祀的时候，
ancestors,
你
and
不能说
obviously they
我
like
就喜
her,
欢
they
奶
love
奶，我
her.
只管照顾爷爷奶奶。
You
啊
cannot be so
哎，对
biased.
姥姥
You
也生
cannot
气
just say, I
吃
look
醋
after my
啊，
paternal
吃了醋之后
grandparents.
对你没什
I
么
do
好
not
处，
care for my
所
maternal
以的话他那
grandparents.
么爱你哈，
That's not good
所以你
because
一
the
定要
love
学
for
着
you
去
are the
祭祀
same
他，
because they are
来
your
帮助你。
grandparents.
对。
So that is
所以最后
important.
其实遗川想请师傅指导的就是说，
So I think she just wants to know that is that good enough when she just offer lights on their behalf, or she needs to do more. So what's it more directly needs is that she needs to offer some paper money to them, because each one is still young. You're just beginning your life, and be probably leading an independent life. You got to deal with a lot of matters, but based on your ancestors' manifestations, you have to work a lot more. She just wants to ask, she's the youngest in the family, why is it that she always dreams about her deceased ancestors? Is that the reason why she's the one that always dreams of them? And that's why she needed some guidance from Master. Is it got to do with the rank and the family? No, because these days people have very few siblings. It is not in the past you have 10, 15 relatives, no. But it doesn't mean that when you always dream of them, it is very auspicious or inauspicious. No, not necessary. The affinity is something, the relationships and affinity is something that's not easy for us to explain. It is very complex and difficult to explain. Not necessary. But through these stories, what we can see, do you want to hear my explanation? Let's say we talk about the story of Yichuan. When you dream of your ancestors, whether they scold you, and that's because they loved you and they want to help you. They may be asking something from us, but actually they're still helping us. If they don't like us, you will not be able to dream of your ancestors. And that's also because they don't want to see you, or sadness. It is not a good thing that you keep dreaming. So every individual case is unique in itself. But my conclusion is that when you dream, it gives you some sign. Why you don't give me money? I'm very fierce. I need money. Can you give them physical money? No, you spend very little money. Maybe you spend $50, you buy some paper money and the clothes for the deceased. And even cars. You bought $50, you bought a lot. But they are satisfied. When you burn the money, it will magnify it and they get a lot more. So for the ancestors, when they are prosperous and when they are auspicious, in their world, what happened to you? Will you be good? Yes. So if our ancestors are reborn in Pure Land, so that is higher than heaven. So the life forms is eternity. Is there an end to the deities in the heavens? Yes, there's an end to the happiness. There is actually an end to it. But Pure Land is infinite, it's eternity. So that's the highest level, highest realm, highest possible realms. If our ancestors, if there's one, can be in the Pure Land, the descendants, you don't have to think much or worry much. They will definitely gain great wealth and great fortune. They can have anything that they want in their life. So this merit eventually will become Buddha's light. If they can be in the Pure Land, what would they be? They may not achieve Buddhahood, but they are on the path to attain Buddhahood. And that's why all the descendants, would they think of you?
这个时候就
Definitely.
叫被佛惦记，对不对？
And they will be thought of
吉祥吧，
by
弄懂了哈。
the
对
Buddha,
他
and
和
would they
你有
be
血缘关系，
auspicious?
他是
Yes,
肯定先爱你的，对不
definitely
对？
they will
所以你
like
看
you
你就好
first,
了。
for sure.
那么接下来再降一级，
And now if you go a
咱
little
们比如
bit
说到
lower,
了到了天了
if you are in
啊，天道
a
啊，
slightly
三
lower
天是
world,
吧？
倒立
倒立
天,
天
which is a different
像佛的
heavenly
母亲住的那个
realms,
天哈，
like where Buddha's
那
mom
吉祥吧？
is living there. Is that an
非常吉
auspicious
祥
realm?
啊。
Yes,
那几
there are
乎和
many,
天的
many
年龄
worlds. So
是一
in
样。
that,
只要说
it
天的
is
年龄就是
it
开
is
始有
the
有
same.
年的，
There is
可
actually
能比如说11年吧哈，这样子
there's
很长
also
很长
a year,
说实在话，
like
想死都死不
billion
了这
billion
件事
years.
情，
It's a
而
very
且没
long
有忧
time,
虑，没有痛苦，没有
and
烦
there's
恼，没
no
有饥饿，
pain, no
没有那么多
suffering
欲
in
望，
that state, in that realms, and
享
no
受的。
几乎
desires.
是永恒
It
的。
is as
那你
close
在
to
那个世界
eternity
有
as
这么一位
is.
祖宗的话，
And in that
那
realms, in that
那
heavenly
他
realm,
他
if you
和
have
人在
one
看那个世
ancestors,
界的那个生命的时候，
and if
他
you
们就
look,
叫巨神。
they are in that
他
world, they are
他的
known
意念
as
就
the
可以改变
great
你的生命状
deities,
态，
and they'll be
更不要
able
说
to
财富状
change
态
your
了。说啊，
world.
最近开这个
Don't
紧
even
呢，
talk about how
你的
easily
祖
they
宗都
can
不用在
change
那
your
儿，
wealth
你的祖
in
宗不
this
用在那
world.
儿，就在地狱里头哈，就在阴间里头过那个员外的生活的，那你就不会发经济上的大愁。
Actually, even if they're in
从
the
他的
lower
天国
realms,
呀，
they're
哎，
living
到了
like
天，
a
哎，那是巨神
a
一级
wealthy
的，
person.
所以
You will not
他
suffer.
心里
So
头关
imagine
照
if
你
they
一
are in the
下，
higher realms,
哎，你
as
不
long
小
as they
心
thought about
就
you,
捡了个金提包，
you will
金
receive
电
these
脑，
golden computers
20
or
个
these
金馒头
golden bags
啊，
or even
40
a
张金
gold
大饼是
barn
吧？就捡
or
到了，
gold biscuits or
哎，
cookies.
就好像是天降财宝一
So
样，
it is as good
就是这
as
样。
heavenly sent
你看这
fortune to
吉
you.
祥吧？
So will you be
哎，所以的话，
auspicious?
咱们这个
Yes.
祖先呢，
So
在
that's
那
why
个世
our
界如果是
ancestors
好，
in the world,
咱们
if
就
that
会
world
一样
they are
就
leading
幸
a
福、
good
健
life,
康、
we will
快乐、
enjoy
心想
health,
事成，
happiness,
是吧？
and auspiciousness,
各种我想
and we
的，反
enjoy
正不是过分的要求，
multiple
都能
good
快速实现，
benefits from it.
是这样。
真的，
但是反过来说呢，如果他们在那边受罪受
But
煎
if
熬
they're
的话呢，
suffering,
说你爷爷正在被抽
say your
筋，
grandpa is
说你腿
suffering,
肚子转筋，每
and
天晚上转筋
every night
啊，一不小心打个喷嚏腰断了，太正常了，对不对？他和你连着
if
的，
he's suffering,
表面
you
上你
too
没有看
suffer in
到，实
this
际上
world
它有个
because
它
you're
的这些讯
connected
息和
with
能
him.
量都是相连的。
Because all of you are
哎，他在那受
interrelated.
苦，你在这好
If
不
he's
了。
suffering, you can't be
哎，
enjoying
所以
life
这
in this
前
world.
头有人说了，哎，我头痛，我腰痛，和
Some
我祖宗
says
是
I have a
连着的，
headache, I have a
有很多
backache,
是连着的。
because
我
a
不
lot
敢
of
说
it
你
are
所有的痛是不是
interrelated.
都是你祖宗造
I
成
cannot
的，
say
不一
that
定
if it's
哈。
all your pain
但
and
是有一
suffering
部
are
分是
caused by
的
your，ancestors, but
是有的，
definitely a portion
是
is
有这可
related
能
to
的。
that. That's
所
very
以他们
likely.
好，我们就好；
So when
他
they're
们不
good,
好，
you
我
will
们
be
就好。
good. If they're suffering, you will end up
尤其是
suffering
师
too.
父反复强调过，我们的祖宗啊是我们的根呐、
Masters has
我
been
们哄
telling
他
us
更
that
多
our
的是从根
ancestors
上滋养
are
上来的。
our
对，这
roots,
一点
and
大
we
家理
need to
解
make
哈。
sure that they
特
are
别
good
注意。
and healthy before we can grow up strong.
那师傅是不是也是因为他来到了菩提？
Master,
所以
is
爷
it
爷奶
because
奶
after she
老了
joined
这回
Bodhi,
都来找他了。
and that's why they
是
come
这
to
个
look
原
for
因，
her?
都来找他的原因就是说，他
They
能
come
够
to look
求
for
得佛
her
光更
is
快速，
because
这是一个捷径。
she
要
provides
不然他
an
们在那
accelerated
边
path
没
for
人
them
帮
to
他
access the Buddha's
啊，就
light.
像人在遇
Because
到最大困难
it
的
is
时候，
like humans
要
when we
看我的
face the
同学、
greatest
亲戚、
problems.
朋友、
When
同
you see
乡
your
找关系
families
网
and
对呀，
friends, who do you
谁认
ask?
识法官是
Well,
吧？
who
谁
knows
认
the
识高
judge?
官，谁认
Who
识总
knows
统，
certain
对不对？
person that
一
is
样的，
of high
这灵魂
high
呢，
positions? So the
它是
soul the
更看
same.
得清楚。
超级
They,
电脑，
they are
就刷
very,
一
they are
晃，
like
一
supercomputer.
晃手掌就知道了。哎，
Immediately they
遗
know
传
who can, they
是
know that
离
each
佛最
one
近的，
is
找
closest to
他。
Buddhas, and that's why they
对
searched
了，
to
就找
they
你来
search her
了。
to
找
seek
你
her
来说的
help.
话呢，你早知道了，
And the,
哎，
they
也
guess the
跟我们
earliest you
解释
know
哈，
about this,
对你来
the
说多
earlier
好。
inspirations you get,
有个什么好
it
处
is
呢？
good
想
for
听吗？
you.
哈，
What is the benefits? Let me tell
佛
you.
在地藏经中说呀，
Buddha says
就
in
是我
the
们
of Soul Bodhisattva Sutra say that if you can help our ancestors, we do merits for them. When we do the merits, the one who benefits will be the person who will do the merits. Because the person who do the act will be able to receive 6 upon 7 portion of that. So that is a significant portion. Say 70, or of $70, you receive 60 of
其实
it.
你在说帮了祖宗了，反
So
而来说祖宗在
although you
帮
say
你
that you're helping your ancestors,
而且佛呢也会
indirectly it's your
加持你，
ancestors that
对不
come to
对？
help you.
你是个
And
孝
not
顺的
only
孩
that,
子，
because you're filial,
啊，
the
所以
Buddhas will shine
帮
the
他了，
Buddha's lights
这
upon
是
you
知
and
恩
bless you,
图报的孩子，
because you are
佛都
someone
欢喜
who
呀，
repay
对不
kindness.
对？哎，你看《地藏经》中，我为什么讲知恩图报这点特别重要呢？
Why do I say
地藏
that
经
in
之中
this
啊，
Avso
你
Bodhisattva
看
Sutra
这
I
个
keep mentioning
地藏
about
王菩萨
repaying
啊，
kindness?
他的过去
Why?
若干
Because
事儿
Avso
都是在
Bodhisattvas
报
in
答
his
母亲
previous
的养育
life,
之恩。
he's
虽然
trying to
母亲虽然
repay
她的恶
his
行都是
mother's
不好的，
kindness.
进入
Although
地
the
狱的，
mom has
她
done
到
a
地
lot
狱
of
之中
bad
去找母
actions
亲，
and
啊，
even
要
went
让
to the
母亲
realms
解
of
脱，
hell,
去解救母亲这
but
一
he
块，
want to go to
这
the
就是
upper
一种
realms to help
天
the
生的
mom.
知恩图报，
And that's because
对不
he,
对？他
personally
为了救
he
母
knows
亲，所
about
以才
he wants
越
to
来这个
help
誓言
the
越大，
mom,
对不对？
and that's
啊，
why
乃至几乎无
he
量的
did a
佛
lot
都
of
是
good
他
deeds.
地藏王成就他们成佛的，所以这些佛见了地藏王都是很感恩的。
In fact, a
那
lot of
很多
Buddhas
人从
attains
做官
Buddhahoods
来说，
because
分
of
官大
Avso
官小，对不对？
Bodhisattvas, and
大
as a
家就会
result,
说，
they
那
are
地藏王菩
grateful
萨这
towards
个
Avso
威望和
Bodhisattvas,
权
and they
力
want to help.
大呢，还是佛的权力大呢？几乎无分别啊。
So who has
很多
greater
佛都是他
power,
成就的让他成
Buddhas
佛
or
的，
Avso Bodhisattvas? Actually, there's no difference
是这样的。
because of
所以他的
because
功
of
德啊，
Avso
应该说
Bodhisattvas'
做佛
compassions,
无丝
many
毫差，
attain
哎，
Buddhahood,
就是这样子哈。
and that's why
哎，
that's
所以
it
呢，
was specifically
咱们做的
mentioned
这
in
个
the
功德
sutra.
哈，哎，实际上是我们自己得到的多。
Actually,
所以
when we
当
do
祖
the
宗
merits, we
比较爱
receive
我们
more.
哈，让我们知道了、梦到了、看到了，那我们赶快去做功
So
德。
the moment we know
其
about
实呢，
this, we should
那
quickly
乍一
accumulate
看
the
说是哎，
merits.
祖宗在那受罪，
Although it may
祖宗
seem
受
like
罪
our
你不
ancestors
倒
are
霉吗？
suffering,
说白了，
well, if our ancestors are suffering,
可是做了
you
功
will
德之
have
后
bad
呢，
lucks.
你先
But
沾佛
if you
光，
accumulate the
对，
good
谁做功德
deeds,
谁沾光，
then you will
就
receive
是
the
这种浅
blessings
显而实用的道理。
and you'll be
哎，
able
所
to
以我
accumulate
们
more
梦到
merits
祖
for
宗那个
yourself.
不好的那个现象哈，赶快做功德。
So when you have some
我还
sign
是提
that
醒一点
appears,
哈，
you
就
must
是无
quickly
论你
accumulate
与这
merits.
个祖宗
I just
亲
want to
亲人的
remind
关系
you,
和你
it
在
doesn't matter
他们
if
在
the
世的时候
relationships that
和
they
你之
have
间
with
发
you,
生了
whether you
愉
have
快
a
的、
close-knit
不愉快
relationship
的、
or not,
尊
whether
敬
is it
的、不
happy
尊
or
敬的、
not, whether is it
合理的、
respectful
不
or
合理
not,
的、讲道
reasonable
理的、
or
不懂
not.
道理的，没关系，
It
毕竟
doesn't
是你的
matter
祖宗当中的
because
一
no
位
matter
哈，
what,
或者若
they
干
are
人。
your
那
ancestors.
怎么办呢？我们要
So what should
不
you
计
do?
前嫌，
You
就
must
算
let
是
go
祖
of
宗
the
做错了、
past
说错了，
and just
实者为
forgive
大，
them,
何况又是我们的祖宗哈。所以我
especially
们
they
都
are
应该
our
至少为他做一份功
ancestors.
德，求
We
得佛
must
光普照，
accumulate the
让他们
kindness
不要
on their
堕入
behalf
地狱之中，
so that
是
they
吧？
receive
至
the
少要
Buddha's
转世
blessings
投生到
and
一个好人家，
illuminations so
对
that
不
they
对？
do not
他们
fall
不
into
受
the
苦，
realms
咱
of
们
the
呢
lower
会沾佛
realms.
光更多。
Hopefully, they'll be
哎，所
able to
以咱们
reincarnate
这个往生的
in a
祖宗
better
之中，
world
有很
or
多人
in
我
a
们和他
good
之间在世的时候
families.
不一定关系都那么密
Actually,
切，
when they're alive, we may not have such a
那
good
我们呢一
relationship
定
with
要懂得这
them,
个道理哈。
but we
实
must
者为大，
understand
何
this,
况是我们的长辈，
especially
我
our
们一定要
ancestors.
放下身段，
And
学
that's
会
why
功
we
德，
must let go
为他们做功德。
and we must accumulate merits on their behalf.
感恩师傅，
Thank you,
师傅这
Master.
个道理讲得很透彻。
Master is very
听明
clear
白
in the
我
explanations.
相信宜川也是很
I'm
明白
sure
的。
that each one understands it very well, and all our online
师傅给宜
friends have
川
heard
送
it
的
and
是万物条
understand
礼
too.
物啊。
Master, you
一
have a
盒800
prize
灵
for
珠
her?
啊，
Yes,
好，
8
送
auspicious
宜川
treasure
哈，
bits.
祝你
That's
健
for
康
Yichuan.
快乐，日益
Wishing
吉
you
祥。
health,
收到，
auspiciousness.
宜川是很需
Thank
要
you,
我
Master.
帮助的。
嗯，
I think she definitely needs
那
it.
师傅接下来要跟师傅分享一位来自马来西亚的
Master, we
网
have
友
another
叫希望
sharing
哈，他
from
想跟师傅
Malaysia.
分享解封17年冰冷的痛苦人生的故事。师傅好，我的爸爸生前是一名割胶人员，就是橡胶园割胶的人员。
Hello,
我们家
Masters.
总共有
My
15个孩子，
father
所
was a
以
rubber
超负
tapping
荷的
workers
经济
before
压
his
力和
death.
生
Then
活
there are
重
15
担
children
都
in our
落在了
family.
爸爸和妈妈的
So
身
there's
上。在
overwhelming
我16
financial
岁的时
pressure
候，
and the
爸爸
burden
已
on
经
my
是56
father
岁
and
了。
my mom.
从那时开
When I
始，
was
爸爸
16,
就
my
有
father
胃
was
痛的问
already
题。
56 years old, and since then he has stomach pains and need to take medicine every day. My father is a rather serious person. I rarely see him smile, and we rarely get his verbal care, but he still cares about us silently. But when I was young, I was very ignorant and very indifferent to my father. In my memory, I never chatted with my father. In 1994, at the age of 27, I got married and gave birth to my first child. My family is not rich, but my family was very harmonious. In August 1996, I had my second child. My 2 children were taken care by my mom-in-law. My husband and I left my mom-in-law and came to work in Kuala Lumpur. In December of the same year, I received the news from my family that my 69-year-old father passed away suddenly. Because after I got married, I basically didn't contact my parents, and I don't really care much about them. I only later on, when my dad passed away, then I learned that he died of lung cancer. In 1997, shortly after the father passed away, I can't remember which day it was, a very vivid dream, which is still fresh in my memory. Dream in the dream, my father had no clothes on, lying curled up on the hard and bare ground, shivering from the cold, and with 2 lines of tears streaming down on his face, looking at me with helpless eyes without saying a word. The scene was very sad. I felt very sorry with my dad, but I didn't too much about that. But after I have that dreams, I had some unfortunate things. My heart and mind went blank. I'm like a walking dead. I can't communicate with my husband. And when my husband talks to me, it is difficult for me to receive the message in his speech. So it seems like I have no response. It's like he talked to me, talked to the air. Over time, my husband stopped talking to me, and we couldn't even speak a few words for years, and the temperature of the family dropped to freezing point. In the company, I never take the initiative to talk to my colleagues, and it's only when they talk to me then I replied. I hate very noisy sounds. When I heard those noisy sounds, I felt that it made me very irritable. Even in the quiet situations, as long as I hear the sound of others walking, it will be infinitely amplified, and it's so loud that it becomes unbearable and will feel extremely irritated. So I don't like to go to a crowded place. I do not know why is it so. I don't know why I'm doing this. Although there was no physical pain, I was deeply tormented. I remember one time I wanted to kill myself for no reason, and I felt that life was boring. So I drank a lot of wine in a state of numbness and boredom, got myself drunk, and fell asleep directly in the toilet. I spent 70 long years in this kind of walking dead, self-enclosed, irritable, and cold family relationships. During these 17 years, I basically never smiled. I never took the initiation to say hello to anyone. To others, my face is always dark, very different. And in 2014 March, my mother passed away, and I also divorced my husband. In April, through the introductions of my relatives, I got to know about Bodhi meditation and I came to the center. In May, I heard that offering lights in the meditation center is very effective, so I lit up 49 days elimination lights for the departed for my parents who passed away. After that, I participated in an 8.5 days health and fitness class. During the class, there's a part where we chant for our parents. When praying for my father, I recall my father working hard from dawn to dusk for a family of 17. I recall my father's silent care for us in his busy schedule. And I even recalled my ignorance and indifference to him. These scenes are like rough seas waves. It hits my consciousness very hard, and suddenly I burst into tears, unable to hide my confessions to my father. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm really sorry. And I regretted my ignorance and indifference. I hope Dad can forgive me. I don't know why, but from the second days of the class, my head hurt so badly that I burst into tears. This severe headache lasted until the 6 days of the class, and it was the first headache in my life. On the 7th day of the class, not only did I have no headache, but I also became very relaxed. From then on, I became happy. I'm able to talk to my friends and colleagues. I even take the initiative, and I'm able to say hello when I meet everyone. And my friends said, "You seem to be a different person. Before, you're always sunken and dark-faced, as if someone owed you $1,000,000. Now you love to laugh and share jokes with everyone. Since then, I'm no longer afraid of loud noises, let alone being annoyed by the sound of other people's footsteps. I have my social circle, which is the Dharma brothers and sisters in the meditation centers. The meditation centers often host events with hundreds of people, and I've come to serve everyone. Every initiative in the meditation is full of fun and laughter. It never touched kittens and puppies in the past, and I was very indifferent to animals. Since I light the illumination light for departed in front of Buddha for my dead father and participated in the class, I'm no longer indifferent to everything. I can even gently pet the kittens and puppies, and the little animals are willing to approach me. I'm very grateful to Master for unload the heavy burden of 70 years. I'm thanking Masters for giving me happiness to be a normal person once again." So she went through 17 years of torture. And that's because after the dad passed away, she had a dream. She dreamt about the father cold in a corner and crying and look at her helplessly. But after the dreams, she didn't do anything. And the next day, she seems to change from a normal person to a walking dead. It's like the brain is drained blindly. She changed to a person who refused to talk. And even when people speak to her, she wants to avoid. She has no feelings, very indifferent, very cold to her outer world. I think there's something to do with her personality. Maybe she's not someone that's very jovial person. Based on her descriptions, after she dreamt about her father, in that state, in that very sorrow state, she felt that she lost her soul. She didn't know. When she see people laughing, she didn't know why. She didn't understand why is it that she cannot feel their happiness. When people can see the beautiful side, for her, she can't see it. She cannot sense the joy. What it means that her world suddenly lose sunshine and colors. I feel that she's a state of depressions. Yes, very deep depressions. Actually, now, medically proven, this is like sudden depressions, in a state of sudden mental depressions. I feel that for her, her father, and her, there is this connections after they connected in a very basic way of saying it. The dead soul, at least a portion of the dead soul, is attached to this girl, to her, onto her. So it is like the dead soul somehow entered into her. I'm not sure if you're able to comprehend this from a Chinese perspective. From a traditional way of understanding, it is like our physical body. It has a physical form. This physical form comes together because of all multiple reasons. But soul is different. The spirit, how it shows itself, it is very different, especially in expression. So the father's soul somehow attached to her. A portion of it is attached to her. And that's why she's a changed person overnight. And yes, and that's why she felt that she's drained after seeing the sight of the father. Because immediately she entered into a different state. She didn't know why. she has this strong attachment by the father. When I see that, I think when the father passed away, this process even tell her, I think the father didn't tell her about his sickness because the father didn't want her to worry. A lot of time our parents love us and they want us to worry about them when they're sick. They always say the good things, the positive things to them. So usually when they have headache and anything, they try not to share with their children because it's a way of protecting the child. Yes, and that's why before death, the father loved her dearly. And because of love, he didn't want to leave her. So that's why he searched her out. But I think the father didn't know that the soul, when the soul enter into a living human, these living humans will enter into a cold state. The reason why she cannot laugh, because she lacked the radiance, the brightness of our world, the human world. So for 17 years, she has been in this state. She entered this deep depression state. And for people who have not been through that, they'll not be able to see that state. And lucky for her, she joined Bodhi immediately after she offered lights. And she joined 8.5 days class. And after that, she repents sincerely. And she thinks about the bad things that she has done to her father in the past. And after that, she has this very intense headache. And the pain lasted for the 6 days of her class. And this pain she has never suffered before. And suddenly the pain disappears after the 6 days. And on the 7th day, immediately she gained brightness. She's willing to share with other people. So you may ask, why is it that she suffered from headaches? So this headache, let's look at it from the results. After 7 days, she sees sunlight. But before that, suddenly something changed in her. Well, now suddenly when she sees flowers, the flowers looks good. She starts to behave like a normal human being. And when people talk, she wants to join into. That's because she has gratitude. So when you have gratitude, you see the world differently. You see the world beautifully. When you have no gratitude, you lose that color. So there's this intense change within her. So it is like you just change to a phoenix. The transformations from a crow to a phoenix, and it needs to go through several rounds of intense burnings to completely change and transform. So it's the transformation process, and in the course of transformations, you explain the change, especially when you have been suffering for so long. So after that, she has this tremendous change in her. Because in Bodhi, you must understand, you learned the meditations of greater illuminations. Actually, this meditations of greater illumination is actually a very special method where medicines Buddha guide us to attain greater illuminations. I think when you have some pain, it's very worth it. Maybe the pain through these few days of suffering, you change immediately. It's very worth it. I'm very happy that during the class, immediately she wanted to repent. She suddenly realized that the dad was actually working very hard for the 17 of them in the family. That was the time that she suddenly gained some realizations. The point of realizations when she started to repent, that's when her healing started. And that's why gratitude is so important. And this is something that I'm still trying to gain new realizations. Gratitude is something that's very commonly used. But what exactly is gratitude? Imagine that the people that you meet, if you have gratitude, will you be happy? Will you feel very happy? When you have gratitude in this moment, you will start to have happiness. Let's talk about this. You may say that, Master, that day you tried to talk me down again. But you may say that, well, although Master may say something very negative, you're very happy about it. Actually, I cannot think how good I am to you. So you must, if you can think about a little bit good about me, you just keep thinking about that. You just keep thinking how good I am to you. I'm sure there's someone you cannot think of how good I have been to you. Can you think of people that have been good to you in your life? Are there moments that the person giving you with trouble? Yes, I'm sure everyone experienced that. If you keep thinking about that person giving you troubles or providing you with pain or unease, and then you have hatred within, you are not at ease, you start to hate the other person, and it will magnify. Emotions will magnify. What happens? You have hatred. I hate hatred, even scolding, even curse. You've forgotten about the good about the other person. Anyway, the person doesn't know you hate the person. The more you keep thinking about the badness of the other person, you will spiral downwards. And when all combined, you will have more hatred. You will have more trouble, so you will burst like a balloon. You will have this intensity. So let's bring back to the topic. When we have gratitude, we will have happiness. If you have no gratitude, you will be in a state of hell. And I hope that you can think about the concept of gratitude that we talk about today. Talk about your families. Do you treat your families with gratitude? Don't always think about the bad things. Always think about the good things that the person has for you. Actually, as children, you do not feel that your parents love you. What about you? Your parents may try to pull you out of bed in the morning or prepare breakfast for you. When you wake up, you did some wrong, your parents don't cane you. Like if your parents cook you, you say, I don't want to eat. Your mom wake up in the morning and say, if you don't want to eat, you can have some pizza. If your mom is like you, you cook you a meal and say, no, I want a pizza. I want to order a pizza. What happened then? For our future descendants, so you must think of the kindness of parents, because one day you will be parents and you realize that how unfilial you are. So when you can appreciate your parents, you treat your parents like child, you realize your parents are so magnanimous. But a lot of times our children doesn't know that. They didn't appreciate that. They didn't know how much the parents love them. Sometimes just in the terms of eating, the parents may prepare the food for 4 hours to prepare for meals. You may say, what? The same food? And you start to complain. And the person who cooked will be suffering and will be sad. They may say, may even pass you a credit card and say, this is a credit card? But the money may be borrowed by parents, because in order for you to feel happy, they may not have the money, but they may borrow the money to give you the credit cards. So you must have gratitude. When you have gratitude, even a very simple meal, you may feel happiness. Without gratitude, you may be born in the royal family and you may still suffering. I think we talked too extensively on this topic.
好的，好的。
So we have a prize for this.
好，送你一颗紫红色的八宝莲珠。
So we have a
祝你呢
purplish
如意
red
吉祥
8 auspicious treasure
心
bits,
生欢喜
wishing
好吧
you happiness,
师傅
wishing you joy
李
from
师傅啊
within.
我们网友哈也不断的在就留言提问嘛。
We have a lot
他
of
们听了我们今天
internet
更多的
friends
故事啊，
that
也是说，哎呀，在菩提
did
供
some
灯，在佛
sharing
前供灯，
and say
真
that
的
to
是帮
offer
到了
lights
自己的
before
往生的
before
亲人。
Buddha's
也
embodied
非常
meditation
希望师
definitely
傅能为
help
大家
with
开示
help with
就是
their
供灯的意义。
ancestors. So maybe can masters help to share with
好的。
us the benefits of offering lights.
在几部佛
at
经之中
Bodhi.
啊，佛呢都
In
耐
few
心
of
地
the
善良地
sutras,
告诉
Buddhas have kindly
教导
tell
我们
us and taught
关于
us the
供灯
importance
带给大家
of
的
the
利益。
benefits of offering lights.
笼统上先说一下，
In general
其
speaking,
实，在佛的世界看
in the Buddha's world, when they
生
look
物
at
生
us,
命的这个状
when
态
they，look at
比
the
我们
life
要完
forms,
善若干倍。
it's more
而我们
complete
看
than
到的
us.
只
Because when we
是
see what we
从在这
see,
个所谓的这个物质世界哈，
we live
我们
in
类
this
似的这个
physical
有血
world.
肉的这个世界之
And
中，
in this physical world,
这个相
with
关的
forms,
动物
the existence of
人类
forms,
物
the
质
animals,
啊，
human
那
beings,
在佛
the
的世界
physical
呢，
goods in the Buddha's
他
world.
看到的就不同了。
When they look at
我
this,
们
they
说，
look at it
第一个就
differently.
是外星人，
First, they look at
第二个
the
灵
foreign,
魂体，
they can look
第
at
三
soul,
个妖精，
they can look
第
at
四个天神，
heavenly deities,
第五
they
种
can see some.
当然还有更多的名字需要起了，
There are a lot of
就是
more
不同的生命
names
体
or
的
different
这
type
个
of
状态，
life forms.
但是这些状态是人类看不到，
But these life forms are
那么
not
多种生命体人
obvious
类看不
to
到，
humans
所以呢，
beings.
佛只能用很耐心的
And
教导。
that's why Buddhas
是这
can
样做
only very
就是对。
compassionately, very patient to teach
所以在
us.
供灯呢，
But
第一
in
个供灯
offering
是带
lights,
给我们的
first,
一个人一生之中最重要的一
one
些
thing
好处，
is some
比如
benefits.
说健康。
For example, health.
因为你在供灯的时候，其
Because
实在
in
佛
offering
在
the lamps,
就开始会有你，
they will
为
start
你
to
消
protect
灾，
you.
为
They will
你
help to
除
get
病，
rid of
哎，
your
你就获得了健
calamities.
康。
And then
还
you
有
will
呢，
gain
像
the
药师
health.
经中，
In the Medicine Buddha
佛陀的
Sutras,
12个愿望，
there's 12
哎，让你这个相貌
12
还要完
vows.
美。
You will have dignified
你
appearance.
看这个大家，尤其是女生哈，
Especially
特别注意
ladies.
这个个人形象，
You
是吧？
always
把
think
这个
of
脸
your
画得漂
own
漂亮亮的，
features. You want to be
长得不漂
beautiful.
亮，画得画漂亮，是吧？
You want
就
to
是
look good.
爱美之心，人皆有之。
Well, everyone
所
wants to
以
be
佛说
beautiful.
哎，我
And
们
that's
通过
why
供灯
Buddha says
这样
that
的供
when
灯，
we offer lights,
让我们变得这个身相完美。
we will be complete in our look, in our
接下来
appearance.
还要健康长寿。
Not only that, you will
光
have
普通
health
健康还不
and
行，
happiness.
光小
Not
脸长得
just
好看
normal
还不行。
health. You want to make
还
sure
要
that you
长
have
寿。
good look and
所以
you
人
want
家希
long.
望说人的几种好处，对
longevities.
不对？所以
Because
凡
there are
是
few things that
短
we
寿的
like.
就
For example,
有的
those
福气来说就不如长寿，
who have
对不对？
who
我
live
觉
a
得
short
是这
life,
样，
they will
短
lack
寿
good
就不如
fortune.
长寿更好一些。
So
如果
longevity
不是
is
很
better
痛苦的生活的话，
if you are not
所以
suffering.
我们供灯呢就得到这么
So
多好
you
处
have
啊。
so much good
这个
deeds.
光从我们的一个人的身体上，
That's from a human body's form.
从健康、
From
相
health,
貌、肢
from
体的
look,
完
from
美
appearance,
还有健康长寿。
from
我长
health.
寿，我的健康的长寿，你不能痛苦
You
疾
want to
病
have,
的
you
折磨
want to
下
lead
长
a
寿，
long
那就
life,
很
but
痛
you
苦了
want to
啊。
live
那
a
就这样
long
啊。
life with a healthy body.
那么再接下来呢，就是人所求的东西。
And others will be what
人
we
所求的东西
desire in
太
life.
多了。
There's so many things human
但是呢，
beings
一个
love to desire.
有几种东西是
But
人
there are
必
some
然要
broad
求的。
categories that we would like to
比如
have.
说，
For
人长大
example,
之后要有好的姻缘，
you want to have
这
a
个
good
姻缘我是指
marriage.
婚姻的意思哈。哎，无论男女，男大当婚，女大当嫁，对吧？人就怕这个娶错这个
You're scared that you may marry
娶
the
错
wrong
媳妇儿
person.
嫁错人，
嫁错人啊，男怕娶错
So
媳
for the
妇，
guy, they're
女
afraid to
怕
have
嫁
the
错人。
to
啊
marry the
这
wrong
个
wife
这个婚姻的结合哈，
because
有
a
很多人
partnership is a
本来
marriage.
是公主，
A
结果
lot
一
of
不小
them
心
they
嫁
are
给了恶魔。
princess. They
那么
marry
她
a
的公
crook.
主呢，这一生
And
就
what
毁了。
happened to the princess?
是
The
吧？
princess' life
公
will
主
be
遇上恶
shattered.
魔，
When the
她不会
princess
变
make
成
a
王
crook,
子，不会变成
the
美好的
crook will
王
never
子，
becomes a
但关键是
prince,
公主
but the
会变成恶
princess
魔的
will becomes
一个玩物，或者是被毁啊。
至少
will be
是
maybe
焦虑
destroyed
不
by
安
the crook.
对，那就
So
凄惨
definitely that
的
will
人
be
生就来
bad.
了哈。
the life would reach a bad
所以会
state.
有促进我们的好的姻缘。
So we want to have a good relationships,
那还
a
有
good
呢？
marriage.
好不容易结了婚了，
For
还可以
someone,
促进夫妻
they
和
find
睦
a
相
good
处。
marriage, you can also
夫妻
promote
和睦相处啊，
a good relationship
是天下最大的难
between
题，
husband
比
and
治病
wife.
还难。
That is the greatest problem.
就是
It's
说
worse than
两个人
healing
说刚见
a
面，一
disease.
动心，这种机会人这一生可能有10000次机会。
Actually,
对不对？
to see a person
动
and you
心
fall
归
in
动
love
心，
with a person,
你们在
you
一
may
起
have
生活
many
100
such
天是
experience. But if you
对
live
不对？不
together
用
for
虚伪的，
100
你们都是
days,
穷人，
it
穷
is
人连
very
化妆品都
different.
买不起，对不对？
If you are both
真实面
poor,
对人生，
you don't even have
两
the
个人
money to
分
buy
一
cosmetic.
天就分一根黄瓜，这是你们一天的饮
If
食。
every day you have to split a
你是
cucumber,
虚伪的推让，看你能坚持几
you
天。
try to help
反正
and
不是
say
饿死
give
你
in
就是
to
饿
the
死
other
我，
person.
看谁会推
Let's see
让说
how
你吃
long
吧，
you will
没
be
事
able to survive.
啊，我饿死也没事。
Are you willing
谁会这
to
么做？
forego
对不
your
对？
food
到
source
头就
and
不虚伪，
provide to the other person if both of you are very
所以
poor?
会在佛前点灯哈。
So those who
供
offer
佛的
lights
话，给我们
before
带来这样
Buddhas,
的好的力
you will
量。
have such
哎，
benefits.
夫妻和
They
睦
will
相
have
处，
good
这样的
relationships
护佑。
between husband and wife.
有了夫妻了，结了
And
婚
when
了，
you have husband and
一
wife,
定
you have
会
a
生
good
宝宝。
marriage, you
生出
definitely
宝宝
have
更困难
children.
啊！接下来就是可能保你生宝宝，
And next is maybe
哎，
to
还生了宝宝之后，
protect you to have
从头
children.
3岁以内
And
在乎他的
first,
健康问题，
to
对不对？
ensure the first 3 years,
尤
you
其
want
是
to
7岁
ensure
以
that
后，
they have health.
父母担
And
心
after
7岁
7
健
years
康，
old,
还更大一个担心
you
将来是否成
worry
才。
whether they can
有
become
很
a
多孩
good
子小
person,
时候
whether
活
they'll be
泼可爱，
successful in the
天
future.
真浪漫。
A
可
lot of
是
time, the children are very cute
啊，
when
一
they are
长
young.
到16
But
岁、
when they
20
grow
岁
up,
之
when
后，
they're in
会
their
发现
60s, in their
变了个
20s,
人，
they find
是
that they
吧？
completely
有些呢，
changed.
这个小坏蛋就变成了好秀才，
Some,
是吧？
although they're
啊，
naughty
文
at
质彬
young,
彬的，
they
哎，开
become
始
a
懂
good
事了，
person
是
when
吧？
they grow up.
也有的是一
But
个
there are
非常
some
可爱的
who
孩
are
子，变
very
成小恶
cute
魔。
from young, they become a devils when they grow up.
还有孩子呢，
And there are some
就
children,
前面那个虚榜师姐那样，
like
我就不
Shibang,
说话了，我也不吭声
I
了，甚
refuse
至
to
我也不走
talk.
出家门
I
来
don't
了，
even want to step out.
就像中邪一样。
It's just
现
like
在越
being,
来越多，对不对？
there are many
所
people
以
that are like
子女
that.
教育成才问题，
And that's why the
要说
education part of the
去
child is
在
also a
佛前
very
供灯
significant
啊，他保
component.
佑我们的子
And
女
that's
哈，
why it's
保
important
佑
to offer
让
lights
关
before
键在子
Buddhas
女在关
because
键
we
对
like
事物
we have
进行
protections
判断
by
和选择的
Buddhas,
时
the
候，
blessings from
前面
Buddhas
有一
and
盏明灯
Bodhisattvas.
哈，将他把美好的前程照亮，就替他指路，
So when we
这
offer
多
lights
好，
is
是
for
吧？
Buddhas to provide
对，
guidance,
所以这么
for
多的
that
好
a
处。
good path
还有呢，
for the
还想听吗？
descendants. And what
想
else?
听哈？对，接下来就是子女成才
And
问题。
next is the success of the children.
他们因为光能顺利的去让他变成一个成年人，
Because for the kids to be
还不
on
够，
the right path is not
还能够，对这个子女哈，会
Not
起到
only
一个
that.
叫超级的点化啊提拔的作用，
it will provide
让一
some
个还算是
inspirations
聪
for the
明可爱的
kids.
成年人会变得有所成
They
就，
will be successful
比
in
如成
life.
为非常好的优秀的医
They
生、
will have very good
优秀的
person.
老师，
They'll be good
对吧？
teachers. They'll
这
be
些
good
都是
doctors.
都是需要功德的，
And these
这个
needs accumulations
哈，
of
需要这
merits.
个佛菩萨的
And it needs
点
Buddhas,
拨和佛
Bodhisattvas
光一直
to
普照
protect,
他，他才能
to
有所
Buddha's
这
lights
样
to
的大成
continuously lead on them in order
对，
for
让子女
them
有
to
所成
enjoy
就
that,
啊，这一
to
点是
enjoy
特别
this
的重要，
longevities
而
and
且
this
很
good
有
health.
效果。
And this is very
像
effective
前
on
面
the
我
child.
们来办那些青年班哈，
Before that,
哎，
we
你看
have
多
the
少
youth
孩子，
camps.
哎
So
呀，那父
many
母跟我们
who
说的
came
时
to
候
the youth
哭
camps, the
啊，
parents have headaches.
但是有孩子进来的时候，
And
孩子
after
不
they
行，
come,
哎，很
they
多父
becomes
母把孩
very
子来报名，
excellent.
孩子来报名的时候，父母觉得我的孩子可怎么办呢？
When it
学
comes
校也
with
不
bad
要，
habits,
我也看不到他的未来了。
and they come see a
所以最
future,
后
the
一
parents
关，
cannot see a futures for
听说
them.
你们这儿还行，来试
But
试吧。
after that, they try
就是
this
很
as
多
a last
家长是把
resort.
孩子这么弄来的，
That's the
但
reason
是经过
why the
我
kids
们
are
对
sent
他们的
here.
一些指导哈，
And
和
after
计
our
划，
after
很多孩子
we
还是
provide
后来
them
是
with
不
some
错的哈，
guidance,
考
a
上
lot
好
of
的
child
大学的，
became very
或者
good.
找上好
They
工作
went to
的，
good
找上好对象的，
universities, they
还
find
挺
good
好的，很
partner,
不错
they
的。
got a good jobs, they end
对，
up
这些
well. now. Many of the parents are very, very happy. And that's why a lot of parents are still very happy with us, because these children are still changing for the better.
Yes, after they come to follow master path, they became better.
We even have a Malaysia, a lawyer, that shared that before that she refused to go to class and she always played games and she caused a lot of problems to the dad. And after she joined and after offer lights, for some reason, he slowly becomes a good person and he returns school. And now he's doing very well. He's already a lawyer. And the dad never cannot expect that the son will become who he is today. So in Malaysia, there's this, you can only have 3 times to do examinations if you want to pass law. Because he's in his early 20s, a lot of people who went for the bar exams, even though some of them are in their 40s and they're still trying to pass the exams. Because for them, that would be their last chance. And it's a very tough examination to pass. For this child, she even helped to cheer him on and tell him his method. And even offer lights on their behalf. I remember, like, for that batch, 100% of them pass it because that's the most difficult exams. So everyone who went through the exam with him did well. But during college, the parents he was a very rebellious son, so causing troubles to parents. So the parents has tried many methods and they have no way out. Even the teachers start to worry for him. Because teachers will want the children to be good. But the child caused a lot of headache. He liked to play a lot of computer games. But when there's no way out, he chants upon us. So suddenly, there was an awakening, sudden awakening in the child. And he became a very successful and capable lawyer. So this is the true story. The mom continuously offer lights on his behalf. For him, he now able to provide guidance to others. He can even provide some counseling to fellow lawyers. So isn't that amazing? And that's because they have been shined upon by Buddha's light, and that's why they become so capable. And that's why I offer lights before Buddhas to do all this. Your children will be able to attain greatness. The parents will be so happy for them. And Master, we have another sharing, and this mother. Actually, the child is very, very smart already. So the Toronto in Huailing, she's also a she also worry about the children's marriage. So she asked Master, the child is already in his 40s, and he's a very good son. He was studying in Germany and have a good job after finishing his studies. He worked for Bosch. This company is a very good company. It's a technology company. So because the son's career is doing very well, and he has good studies, he has a good career, everything is good. And he has a good temperament and a filial child. But he's not seems to be worried about his marriage. And the relative and friends also introduced a few ladies for him to get along with, but in the end, they all failed. So the mom is very worried for the son, because mom is already 77 years old. I remember in 2018 when we go to Toronto, she asked Master to help with the son's marriage. At that time, Master said, do some meritorious deeds. And she remembered and she actually offered lights. And I remember subsequently when she came for class, she said, but the son is in the 40s, and why is it that the son has no has no good relationships. It was quite funny at that time. Master says that you have to make sure that you do meritorious deeds. So she listened, and after she returned to Toronto, she continued to do good deeds. And she even sponsored, and she did everything for the son. Just hope that the son will have a good marriage. And we didn't hear anything good news. So she also forgotten about that. And then after that, there was a pandemic. And in 2021, during the pandemic, the son suddenly called her and said, go to Germany for Christmas. She didn't know if there's anything wrong with the pandemic, so she don't want to go. As a result, the son said, you have to come because you have to attend the wedding as the man's parents. When she heard it, she was so happy. It was a happy event. It was a surprise. So that suddenly she has a daughter-in-law. So she hurried to prepare get the air tickets. But during that time, the girl was stopped abroad because he was not able to get the visa because of the pandemic. As a result, the wedding was postponed. And she firmly believed in Master's words, so she continued to offer the son a wish-fulfilling. So she actually went to continue to do good deeds. And she continued to offer lambs in front of the Buddha and pray for them, hoping that they would get married as soon as possible. So finally, in about August 2022, so during that time, all countries already opens up. And that time, she was able to get visa and was able to come to Germany to marry her son. And finally, she get the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless her son to get married successfully. Most importantly is that she has been doing the sponsorships, offering lights continuously for the son's behalf, and that's why the daughter-in-law is handpicked by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And after that, she wrote and says that she's very happy with the girl and say the girl is very auspicious looking. And she says that this is a very good daughter-in-law. And I think they deal very well together. And they seem to have the same thoughts. So she's so happy. And that's all the benefits of offering lights before Buddhas. And the daughter-in-law is beautiful, upright, and understanding, and they're like-minded. Very rare. And she wrote to thank Master once again for the guidance. I just want to give you a guidance. You have such a strong wish. Immediately your wish fulfilled. And that's because of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are helping you. And you need to fulfill the wish. You must need to thank Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I think it will complete that. That is a good one. When the wishes get fulfilled, you need to make sure that you go back and give thanks to make it more complete. I haven't said finish the benefits. It's not only that. So it brings you health, longevities, good relationships between husband and wife, promotions, success of children, and in the future, you will get wealth and good fortune. So this fortune is through cultivation. It is not because of working you can get that. So if you do not have this good fortune, you may have a lot of capabilities to make money. You may not be able to accumulate the wealth. We talked about a few people before that when they invest, they keep investing, having investment difficulties or keep suffering investment loss. So it's important that you have these meritorious deeds. Once you have meritorious deeds, you will be able to pick the right investment. You will not make a wrong investment. Does it mean that if you do not make investment, you'll be able to keep your wealth? No, because if you do not invest, your money may be kept to pay for medical bill. Or your husband and wife may save the money, but your children are not filial and they may spend the money. So when we have all the opportunities to offer lights, it is very important that we do it. Not only it helps us, but it also helps our descendants, especially for youngsters, because they have a very long runway and they have a good future. But what's lacking in them is they lack the life experience. So as parents, when we do that for our children, at critical moments in their life, they have Buddha's light that shines on them. They will have a bright path. And whatever thing that they do will be auspicious. They will make the right judgment. They will make the wisest choice. Isn't that great? So that's why when we have ancestors, if they showed up in our dreams or they have needs in the dreams, we must offer lights before Buddhas. We must try to do more meritorious deeds. We must do more kind deeds to help others. And I think we should stop making investments, wrong investments. There are so many investment opportunities. These days, most people there are less thieves around, but there are a lot more investment scams out there. So you want to be very careful. But you have fortitude. Buddhas will provide you with inspirations, and you will have an auspicious, healthy, capable, and successful person. And not only for yourself, but for your descendants, you will have great fortunes for many generations. I think for all our internet friends, deep in your heart, that's what your deepest wish. Thank you, Masters. Definitely, when we offer lights, it can bring benefits to our descendants. And when our ancestors appears in our dreams, and it's very important for us to take these opportunities to offer lights. Well, a lot of time, when they appears in our dreams, it is actually for good. And that's because when we do 7 parts of merits, assuming that every merit has 7 parts, 6 parts will go to you, and only 1 part will go to your ancestors. And when you have these merits, you transfer to your children, and everything will be auspicious. And when you have that, your life will be filled with tremendous happiness. So definitely we have a presence for Huailing and also for the... So that is a great... So for Huailing's son, I have a chanting beads. Wishing you auspiciousness with Buddha's blessing. And for your wife, we have this garnet bracelet. And wishing you auspiciousness and wishing two of you enjoy happy marriage for a long time and have a good child. And also for Huailing. We have this true fire stones for you. You are a very kind mother. When you have time, you always leave a message to me after so many years. I'm fully touched by you. And I can really feel the love of a mother. Thank you, Master. During this Qingming festival, we have this very special Qingming festivals on our ancestors slide. Let's see the website www.puticollege.com. If you go into the site, you will be able to see very clearly that there's these portions that you can have Qingming light offerings, and you will see that this year is very it's something that you can offer for our ancestors, because that may be something that they need, because they will need for you to accumulate merits, and they'll be very happy. And if we have some other ancestors that we do not know their name, we can do that for our ancestors, and we thank Masters to give us once again to have the opportunity to take care of our ancestors. I just want to remind all that we're thanking all the internet friends for all your stories. We will continue to accumulate these stories. And you can see that there's this Qingming Festival story collections. And once you are picked, you will have special blessing by Master. That's very auspicious too. As long as we talk about them, especially during the Qingming festivals, we receive so many people. It doesn't matter whether I read it out here. I'm sure I will definitely help you to offer lights on behalf of your ancestors and wishing you auspiciousness so that you have a better future, and then your ancestors will be more at peace. Thank you, Master. It doesn't matter whether we actually showed your stories, we'll definitely help you. So when is our next live broadcast? The next live broadcast will be April the 2nd, 7 p.m. Asia Taipei time, and for Vancouver time, it's morning 4 a.m. We'll meet again on the live broadcast. Wishing all happiness, longevities, and auspiciousness. See you next time.
电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆，卡迪索哈，电塔红被看见，被看见，马哈被看见，兰扎萨姆。